The vasculitis community are some of the strongest, most resilient people you'll ever know. Ears were plugged up. I had loss of hearing. I had terrible ringing of the ears. My sinuses were horrible, and it would not go away. I went to primary doctor. I went to an ENT, and no one could give me any answers. Then I'd go to the hospital, get the IVs. I'd feel a little better, come home, and then one day I ended up with this terrible, what we now know as neuropathy, but terrible shooting pains in my foot and my hand, and they were going numb. So we're like, we need to go to the hospital. I was in the hospital for about 2 weeks, and they did all types of tests, MRIs, x-rays every day. They could not figure it out. And I was also constantly coughing. I could not stop coughing, the ringing in the ears. And they did a biopsy in my lung, and the test came back as GPA, vasculitis, and we had never heard of it. And my parents even asked the pulmonary specialist that did the biopsy, how many he sees of this. And he said, this is my first. And it was, definitely scary, but we were so glad to finally have answers. I was feeling like a walking zombie. Like I could not function. I had to let go of so much in my life. I had to let go of work. There was so much out of my control. I could not worry about it. I had to worry about my health, and my kids were the priority. And my parents moved in with me to help take care of the kids, and they would take me to the doctor's appointments. They would, because I was seeing several specialists, and it was just getting used to a new normal. I've always been happy-go-lucky, good attitude, and I never understood depression. I hate to say, I used to think it's a choice, just choose to be happy. There's so much to be thankful for in life, and you can be happy. And this was the first time I struggled with depression. It was really helpful talking to my doctors and for me getting on the right medication, and that was a game changer for me. The vasculitis community are some of the strongest, most resilient, positive, amazing, helpful, caring, sincere people you'll ever know. My parents have a friend, Bill, and he actually drove 3.5 hours to come to my home when I was first out of the hospital. So I was newly diagnosed, and here I have someone coming to my home, and he's had it for 17 years. And he's living his life. He's sharing his journey. And he also validated a lot of what I was feeling with the prednisone journey, the ups and downs and the crazy roller coaster that is, the chemotherapy we're on. Having someone validate and hear and say, you will get through this, was so helpful to me. And when I met Bill, that led me on to, it took me a couple years. And he also told me about the Vasculitis Foundation, and it still took me a couple years to really get involved because I just wanted to be mom and be there for my kids and my health. I went to my first conference in 2019 here in Phoenix, which led me to my first symposium. And after I went to those, I really got a true sense of community and how many people are out there. And there is nothing like seeing someone you've talked to online, and then you see them in person and you give this big hug like a long lost family member. But we really need that sense of community. So that's when we formed, we started meeting in person here in Tucson and Phoenix, and kind of having our own Arizona support groups, quarterly meetings. And it's really neat to see people come and they don't have to feel alone. A message I would have for anyone going through vasculitis is try to look at the bright side, try to look at the blessings. I know it sounds really weird, but my blessings is I've met so many amazing, wonderful people that have become good friends and like family to me. So I would just encourage you to find your support, find your people, talk to your family. It's really hard for family to understand this journey. And just be real. My mom would always say, it is what it is. This is where we're at. We can't think about if we didn't have it. Embrace where you're at, and something positive can come from it.